Hi, a very good afternoon to everybody, and thank you for joining in. This is looking like a packed session. We've got close to about 294 people who are in here today, who have come to meet Professor Shamit Srivastava, and who is going to give us an insight into the School of Product Innovation and Strategic Design. Before I bring on Shamit, I would like to introduce Siddharth Shahani, who's also the co-founder of the school and the director. I will, Siddharth, if you're here, please.
Thank you, Imran. Let me take over. Great. A very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for coming out to join us today. We're very excited because it's our opportunity to talk to you about product design. Product design has been our most, I would say, award-winning department within the school. We have highly acclaimed faculty. We have the fastest number of patents that we have filed last year. And of course, most importantly, with the current circumstances, everyone is understanding the importance of design, and in particular, product design. Because once the lockdown is over and once the pandemic recedes, there will be a lot of redesigning that needs to be done, and that will come to you, ladies and gentlemen, the product designers of the future. Today, we have an exciting lineup. We have amazing faculty, we have amazing students, but really what we're going to do is, one, take you through the pedagogy of product design at ISD. It's a very special pedagogy. It has curricular inputs from Parsons. It has inputs from some of the leading product design companies, IDEO, Herman Miller, local companies like Mahindra, TCS have all worked with us over the past 5 years to really come up with the #1 product design department in the country. We'll also share with you the experience that you will go through as a product designer. Of course, we're seeing more and more a transition from product design to digital design, and more importantly, product designers being employed as UI UX designers, as AR VR designers. So really, if we look at all the disciplines of design, product design is really the discipline that gives you, I would say, the leapfrogging board for a future career. I will also request Professor Shamit Srivastava to talk about the professional experiences that students have, the international experiences that students have. We have a large number of exchange programs. We have a large number of semester abroads. We do a lot of, I would say, global projects which are done both virtually as well as in person. But most importantly, why am I so excited today is because we have a number of our students with us. And really, like any designer, these students are really our products. And, I want to welcome Urvi, I want to welcome Trisha, I want to welcome Sarthak, and I want to welcome Milind. Trisha has just completed her capstone with Deloitte, is placed with TCS, looking forward to, her professional experience. Milind, I still remember, 2016, he came as a young boy from Delhi, but graduating as an experienced man. He's done his capstone with JJ Hospital right in the middle of the pandemic, and now, going on for his placement with TCS. Sarthak, who is, a very, very, again, very clever and unique designer who has done his capstone with Greaves Cotton, and I believe is going on to head, their nascent studio as a studio lead for Greaves Cotton. So that's another example of, what our students are doing. And of course, Urvi, who I believe is going on to pursue her master's. She doesn't have, it's not just one offer, but 3 offers that she has. She has offers from SCAD, she has offers from the Royal College of Art, which is of course the #1 postgraduate program in the world. And of course the Institute of Illinois Technology, Chicago, which has been the heart of design thinking. I can keep going on and on about our product design department, but before I hand over to Shamit, Shamit, if you can share a video with the group today on, what our design school is all about. So this is actually where you get a glimpse of what you will be immersed into for the next 4 years of your life. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Product design is the #1 choice today because it combines science, it combines engineering, it combines art, it combines liberal studies. And really, if you look at the top 5 jobs of the future and also the most paid jobs, is very often, from the product design shed. So very warm welcome to you. Have an enjoyable afternoon and look forward to seeing you at ISDE when we begin. Many of you are joining the Head Start program on 15 June. So, an advance welcome to you for that. We'll see you tomorrow evening for the opening ceremony and look forward to our journey together. Shamit, all over to you.
Yes, here is the video.
Design for me is about bringing comfort and convenience through products and services for people. And it's also about meeting their aspirations in the life.
Design is taking over everywhere. You will see designers as core part of every industry today.
The products of the future are more smarter in nature. So the program at ISDI focuses a lot on blending technology into the curriculum.
We make sure that students do not deliver self-centered design.
The first year studies at ISDI is special as it marks their transition from being a student to a design student. The pedagogy that comes from Parsons to us is that design is practice, and practice is based on research and reflection.
One of the things that it has greatly enabled us to understand is how to bring a global standard by keeping an Indian context.
We use Bombay as a lab.
Mumbai being a city that beautifully combines the old and the new, the urban campus is a unique idea. I think as a concept is very unique. We have very interesting craft clusters, we have creative people, we have people from the media. I think the interactions themselves are an education in themselves.
Developing simple ideas into great outcomes that can be used for design studies no matter what.
All right, so thank you, Siddharth, and welcome parents, welcome all the aspirants, welcome students of SD, and welcome all the faculty team and the outreach team that is here with me out here. So here's a presentation that I'm going to take you through, and really look forward to interacting with all the wannabe designers who are here with us today. So I'm sure you would have read about design. I'm sure you would have come across people. You would have attended few classes, webinars, and you would have some basic understanding of design. According to me, design is all about spotting that opportunity in the new reality. And new reality here means future. It's figuring out this opportunity and creating products, services, experiences for people into that future. So what we are going to do today. Today's session, is packed with a little bit of theory around product design, where I'll talk about why product design is essential and what is the future of product design like. We'll deep dive into the product design program at ISDI. We're also going to be looking at some of the work that our faculty has done in the past. Our faculty comes with a lot of academic excellence and with industry experience. So you'll get to witness some of their work. As Siddharth mentioned, we have 4 graduating students who are with us, and they will be speaking of some of the work that they have done and their experiences over the past few years. And then we are going to be open for Q&A. So I'm sure, you would have heard of design, a famous statement called form follows function, right? So for most people, design is only about aesthetics. It's about art. It's about shape. It's about color. It's about how it looks. Right, whether it looks appealing, because I think form, color, texture, these are the first things that you witness whenever you see an object. But at the same time, design should also serve a purpose. It should also have a meaning to whatever it is desired to speak, right? So if it's a pen, it should write. First, a pen should write, and only then, you look at whether, it looks good on your pocket, or looks good on your, in your compass box, so on and so forth. So definitely, form and function are two very essential elements of design. However, as you would have seen over the past few decades, a lot has been changing around us. If you look at the way things have changed around us, if you take entertainment, you take food industry, you take consumer good industry, so what is form and function accompanied with? It is accompanied with a lot of experiences. So form and function in isolation, are not just what the customers are looking for. They're looking for, experiencing new environments, experiencing new technologies, and that essentially is what, according to me, product design is all about. It is not just form and function, it's also about creating those experiences. And we are going to look at some of, the work that our students are doing to address these three buckets. Now let's look at why is product design essential, right? And not just from student lens, but even from an industry lens. So a slightly complex slide, but I'll just keep it short. So we all know that competition in the industry is growing. We all know that there are a lot of MNCs, a lot of global companies who are wanting to come to India and establish their footstep. And we also know our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has been pushing a lot on localized products now. So it is essential for Indian companies to create differentiators. It's important for them to create the new news, okay? And the news here mean, it could be new sizes, new form, new shapes, new technologies, new functions, new features. So every company requires people who can think of these new products, who can create these new products and products which are successful in the market and give companies an edge against their competitors. So let's take an example, right? I just took a very simple example of our kitchens, and I'm sure a lot of parents here, or your mothers and parents out here, you would have seen how a simple product like a mixer grinder, in our house has seen a change, right? Probably at the age when we were young, or when your grandmoms used to be in kitchen cooking, it was those grindstones that were very popular, and then came a mixer grinder. But look at some of the existing mixer grinders that are available, when you visit a Croma store or when you buy things on Amazon. Look at what has changed, right? You're seeing a change in color. They are no more, those white or, opaque looking stuff, but they've become more metallic. There's a lot of, steel finishes. There's a lot of accessories, which mixer grinders are now having. And why is this happening? Because earlier, mixer grinder was only serving a function, but now these home appliances such as mixer grinder, refrigerators, televisions are also helping people, create a social statement. It's like, we are doing well, and we are doing well in this society, and that is the reason people desire to buy these kind of products. I think the future of kitchen is going to become smarter, and we have been sharing. We know that there are a lot of smart devices now, coming in, and soon a lot of these devices are going to get controlled by your phones, right? And maybe the future of mixer grinder or appliances is going to be around that phone. So the point that I want to stress here is that even though mixer grinder is a product, but I think what is important is how does a mixer grinder work and what kind of experiences it creates for people, who are going to be in that kitchen. And believe me, right now, we are not just talking about mothers who cook, right? A lot of younger generation is also getting interested in cooking. And I think their interest will multiply if you have these kind of technologies getting blended into products. This is a most essential slide which I would like to spend some time on. Most people believe that design is only about creating value for the customers or for the users. I believe that definitely is is one of your primary objectives, but a design is not a great design unless and until it meets the business purpose, right? If we take the same example of a mixer grinder, and let's say if we take a company like Philips, if Philips is making or designing a new mixer grinder, it is not going to approve that new design unless and until it sees its business growing, unless and until you sell maybe lakhs of mixer grinders that of that new design in the market. So a design has to provide a business value. And one of the disciplines that we have at ISDI, Strategic Design Management, is the discipline that also looks at bringing in business value of design into the products. Looking at environmental design, we have been all seeing, we have been talking about sustainability. I think school syllabus also has a lot of sustainability and green elements built into it. But what exactly is environmental design? This is something that our students learn when they work on their projects. We look at the complete product life cycle. We don't just design products and leave it there. We look at what is going to happen to the products after they complete their useful life, right? So a great example here is furniture, right? So furniture, I think gone are the days where people wanted to buy furniture made out of those strong sagwan wood, which would last for 20, 30 years. But now people are looking to buy furnitures which they can change in few years. So why should a designer consider, incorporating materials which have long life? They probably need to design furniture that lasts 5 years, and then you create a new cycle of product. So that's how designers think, and that's what designers do. Social design, I think a lot of examples around us, especially in this COVID scenario, whether you talk about design for masks, whether you talk about ventilators, whether you talk about food packets, there's a lot that is happening over the past 3 months in the country, which tells us that design is not just for an individual, it is also for a community. So now let's get into product design program at the ISDI School of Design and Innovation. So let me start with our curriculum, and let me just simply tell you that after the student has completed the first year, which is a foundation year and which is common for all the disciplines, the students come to the second year, or we also call it a sophomore year, which is nothing but design of simple products. And what do we mean by simple products? Simple products are products that we see around in our house, such as furniture, such as lighting. And this year focuses a lot on building skills in people about product visualization or working with different materials to create an understanding of simple product design. As they move on to the third year, they do something called a smart product design. And one of the key pillars of our design program is how do we bring in technology in the products, right? If you take 10 products today, I'm sure out of those 10, 8 products have some kind of technology or have some kind of internal electronics built into it. And it is important for a product designer to also know what goes inside the product. And this third year focuses a lot on building those products which are technology based. Fourth year or the final year is where things get a little more complex. And I think this is where designers also start liking that complexity, because products are part of larger systems. That smart kitchen example that we saw a few slides back is a system design, right? Because products, they don't work in isolation. They also work in integration with a lot of other products, a lot of other gadgets, and a lot of other people interacting with them. I am sure, Alexa and, your Netflix, Fire TV, all of these are examples of how a product is actually not just an object, but there is a lot of other interconnections that are happening with that product. So this is about systems design. So if we look at the same curriculum slightly, deeper, so here is how our courses are structured. So in the second year, students, like I said, build in core skills of product visualization, sketching, rendering, using different mediums, making models and mock-ups, translating those ideas into 3D form. Material exploration. Product designers work a lot with materials. They convert those materials into products, that the customers desire. So this semester focuses a lot on materials and manufacturing processes. The third year, as I said, is more about digital fabrication. So this is where 3D printers and digital fabrication is introduced to the students. We also look at UI UX. So as Siddharth was mentioning, products are getting more and more digitized, and there is a digital element, whether it's an app or a website or an interface, on a screen that you see, and therefore it is important for product designers to look at the UI UX element also. Fourth year is where critical thinking is developed in the students with courses such as systems thinking, speculative thinking, and also design management. And one of our USPs of the program is a capstone, and I'll talk more in detail in the subsequent slides about what capstone is. So our core pillars of the program are building creative thinking ability, core skills that product designers require, material and process knowledge, and along with this, technology application, building in technology into products, all-round development. We don't just believe in translating those skills into students. We also believe in creating individuals who take ownership, who are responsible, and who even take leadership when they move into their professional world. So we also build a lot on the professional practices angle for the students. And Industry Connect is our strongest pillar out here, and again I'm going to share some examples on how have we worked with different corporates and startups to bring in industry experiences into our school, and also how our students have gone to the industry and created impact in places that they have interned or worked with. Now let's look at what is a journey of a student that comes to the second year of product design till the time he or she graduates. I'm going to explain this journey using a parallel drawn to a design process. I think most of you here would know that design process is very iterative. It's never linear. It's very explorative. It's very iterative, and it uses a lot of discovery tools in the beginning. And as things go forward, you would start defining the focus areas. So I'm going to use a similar method to explain you how's the journey of a product design student. So the second year is more about discovery. It's about discovering self, right? I'm sure a lot of us have a lot of hidden skills and talent, and we haven't found platform to showcase that skill. So our design space, our design studios allow that students to bring those talent, to bring those capabilities out in the form of sketches, in the form of 3D forms, as you can see. Design is never done alone. Design is about co-creation. Design is about collaborating. It is about leveraging each other's strength. And therefore, it is important to have a very, very effective teamwork. It's important to know what your peer is good at and how two best things can come forward to create wonders for the world. So it is about figuring out your co-creators, making friends, and discovering materials. Ideas have to be translated into 3D form. And second year is all about exploring different kind of materials. We have it's important for students to even touch and feel and play with different kind of materials, such as clay. As you can see here, our faculty Deepak is taking a clay modeling class for the second year students. The other materials that students explore include XPS, MDF, wood, paper. So these are different materials that students use to create mockups and prototypes. Product designer is not complete unless and until he or she goes to a machine and creates stuff on his or her own, right? So I think it's all about getting rid of the fear, getting used to the workshop atmosphere, getting used to the tools that people use, that designers use to convert their ideas into 3D forms. And of course, it is about figuring out the need, right? I've spent about 13 years in the industry, and I know that a lot of business professionals, people who come from B schools, they actually they are dependent a lot on market research, which means very few people travel themselves to figure out what does a customer do, where does he live, right? And what are the current methods that he or she uses? They've always dependent on the external agency to do it. But I believe a designer has to have a first-hand experience of the customer. He has to go to that place, he has to observe, he has to be a fly on the a wall, so that he or she can figure out what is missing in that context, right? And what is the need that we can fulfill there. Our faculty, so Professor Sanjeev Das, who's an NID alumni, he does wonders when he works with students. And this is some of the work that students have done under his mentorship. So these are pencil and marker renders. So I think it's important for every designer to create a style. A style gives an identity to the designers, and every designer is unique. And it is important for students when they are in a design school to figure out that style. And I think our faculties out here help them figure out that style with the skills, with the knowledge that they pass on to the students. A very interesting design studio, and some of the output that you see here is from our studio 2, which is second year studio, and our faculty Abhishek, who led the studio. So this is all about converting those converting the ideas, converting thoughts into abstract forms, right? So as you can see, eco, reactive, and fiesti, these are the words that the students have chosen, and they have tried to translate those into forms using plaster of Paris and using XPS as a material. This helps them build sensitivity towards form. This makes their form understanding, their shape understanding a lot better. And once they have developed this understanding is when they can start applying this to projects such as mixer grinders, consumer goods, automotive, and so on and so forth. This another picture that you see. So we don't just focus on hand skills, we also focus a lot on building digital skills for the students. And a lot of product designers use Wacom tablets, they use a lot of digital tools to convert their ideas, and this is also part of their style. So like I said, some designers, they prefer to use hand sketches to show their ideas to the client. Some designers, they prefer digital tools. And I think it's important for students to explore all of these in the school so that they can decide which is a style that they want to pursue and make it of their own. Some of the work that you see, by our students, and these are all photorealistic renders developed on Photoshop and on a lot of other digital tools. So as they say, right, God is in the details. So just making an outer form doesn't help. A product has to have details. A product has to have semantics, right? So what you see here, like a drill machine. So it is important for customers to know that where is the grip. It is important for customers to know, where to hold. The place where the machine has to be held has to be, be of a size that most people can use it. So these are the kind of understanding that students develop with courses such as human factors and the computer-aided industrial design and some of the work you're seeing on your screen. Some more examples. I think I'm just kind of breezing this through. So now when the students come to third year, they have developed some understanding of product design. They know where they know a little bit about the industry. They have interacted with experts. They've interacted with the faculty. So this is where they start defining what are some of the areas they want to look into. So for example, some students, they might be interested in furniture and lighting design. There are some students who come to us saying that we want to do transportation and automobile design. There are some students who want to do digital, UI, UX, or service-based design. So this is where we do a very thorough exercise where we map the skills of the students, the interest of the students, and then from here till the time they graduate, we make sure that we carve out their career progression in a way that they end up choosing a career and getting a placement in a company which matches their interest area and also their skills. Some more work. So a lot of tech going into our products. This is the work done by our graduate student of last year called Siddhuri, who was a technocrat, a very crazy technocrat. And this is a augmented reality headset which Siddhuri had developed. Similarly, Afan had worked on a firefighting drone. So drones, have been finding a lot of vast applications, but I think it's important to also figure out the right problems that the drones can solve. And since we are all in Mumbai, we know the kind of fire incidents that happen in and around the city, and these drones provide intelligence to the fire brigade team, and they also have an inbuilt fire extinguisher so that they can douse the smell, the smoke that is there, and where the ladders and the equipments can't reach. Design has to be human centered, right? It has to be for the people. It is always said that customer is the king, right? But it is more than important to follow and pursue that than just saying it. So what you see here are two of our students who graduated last year, Shrishti and Ramya, and they worked on a very interesting award-winning project called OptiBridge, and I'll show you that project in the next slide. But this project was about designing a product for blind people, and they visited blind schools. They conducted a lot of experiments to come up with this product. So the product, as you see on your screen, is a Braille writer, right? So the current Braille writers, so we all know that Braille is a language for the blind people. So this is a device which uses a special ink that solidifies when it passes through a UV light, and it creates Braille letters or Braille fonts on paper. And what you also see, this black color strip that you see here, that's a scanner that scans what is written on that Braille paper, and it translates it into the language of choice that the person is given. And this project also won a lot of grants a few years back, and it's currently under development stage. A very interesting experiment conducted by our third year students in the last semesters. And this was a studio that was led by two design practitioners. So we had Vivek Ambedkar and Girish Lone. They are visiting faculties with her. They are very, very established designers from IIT Kanpur and NID. And they were taking the studio around home appliances. So what you see here is a team of students who were designing toaster. So what they did was they conducted a very interesting social kind of an experiment in our campus, where they brought toasters of different companies and they made people use it. They also brought different loaves of bread, and we had a lot of toast being made on that day on that floor. Why was this done? This was done so that the team can understand the problems. The team can understand what is working, what is not working, what people are liking in which of the toasters that are there, so that they can arrive at the desired specifications or the desired features that that they wanted to translate into the designs that they make. So 3 third-year students, as you see here. So this is a very interesting course which is led by our faculty, Professor Ashutosh Deshmukh, who's another very, very tech savvy and a technologically inclined professor out here. And he runs a course called Creative Technology, where students learn programming, coding, and they also they actually look at what is beneath the skin of the products, right? It is not just important to look at how the product looks, but because it has to work, we have to really understand what goes inside it. So all the circuitries, all the wiring, that go there, how do you make it possible? So this is a course, and I think some of the artifacts that you see here, some of the robots and cars that the students have created in the studio. I think the next piece that I want to talk about is idea. Okay, all fine. Making a model and a mock-up is great, but I think a design has to be commercialized, right? And this is where I'll connect back to the point which I was saying, that design has to provide business value. And if design has to provide business value, we have to make sure that the design is manufacturable, right? It is something that can go into the industry or into the manufacturing plant factories and can be converted into n number of pieces. So a course on design for manufacturing in the third year focuses on this aspect of design. Again, like what Siddharth was saying, we believe a lot in experiential learning, and we organize a lot of study tours every semester for our students. So this is one of the images that you see here. So this was a trip to Bhuj, where the students were learning, how to, this is a metalworking technique that they learned there. Our students last semester also went to Malwan, where they worked with the bamboo craftsmen to understand how bamboo can be converted into different artifacts and objects. We've also had some international experiences, and I think Urvi, who's our student out with us, she will talk a little more on this. I'm sure you all would be hearing a lot about 3D printing, and we have an excellent facility of 3D printers. So once the project reaches a certain stage, we use these 3D printers to create almost close to an actual object, and these are some of the examples. So this is the work done by some of our third year students. So all these things that you see here, these are all real, and this was a portable, I would say, induction which was created by our students for adventure enthusiasts, which can be carried at in their backpack. So this is foldable, and you can go to a place, you can put it onto a plug it into a power socket, and it can start working. So while I've been talking a lot about design is into looking into the future, and creating products for the future, but I believe it's also important to look at the past and carry forward some of the good things, some of the good learnings that we have had in the past, and bring them into the future, right? And this trend, I am sure you're seeing a lot with a lot of companies trying to do this way. So what you see here is a water filter, and this water filter is inspired by terracotta as a material. We all know that terracotta has got great properties in terms of purifying water and keeping it cool. So that whole plasticky thing that you see in the kitchen, I'm sure a lot of grandparents and parents in the house would want to have a earthen pot in case of when summers arise, and they will tell you that no, fridge ka pani mat piyo. I think this is a product which I think I would say makes both the set of customers happy, right? It will make you happy, and it will make your parents and grandparents happy as well. Another project done by Muskan, which was design of a kitchen chimney, which was executed few weeks back. We work a lot on healthcare, and what you see on the screen, right, is on the left side is the glucometer. Glucometers are used to test the sugar content, right, in the blood, and it's actually a very it's a 4-step process that is followed today. And the innovation that Genome was trying to do was to combine these 4 steps into one product. So you can remove the strip, prick the the nerve, take out the blood, and then put that strip back into the device, and the device will give you a digital reading saying that your sugar is XYZ value. What you see on the left, on the right side, is a hearing aid, and I'm sure you all would know that most medical devices, they have this social stigma of that it's a medical device, so maybe this person is having some problem or some disease. So this design was about removing all those negative social stigmas that people have about patients and making it ornamental. So you see, what you see on the screen is an ornamental hearing aid. UI UX design, right, which is about, I'm sure each one of you here would have got at least 50 to 100 apps on your screen, on your phone, and I think some of the apps you use it regularly. So when I say product, for us as a school, product design doesn't mean only physical product. It also means digital products. And what are digital products? Swiggy, Airbnb, Make My Trip. These are all examples of digital products. The ICICI Bank apps that you see, that you have on your phones, right? Paytm, all of these are also products, right? And we inculcate those values. We make sure that we bring in experts from the industry who teach you how to design these products. So what you see here is some of the different apps that the students have created in different sectors: education, food, retail, and a lot of it. In fact, the teacher who teaches this course, Gavin, he is a very, very well-known designer. He's done his master's from NID and he works with KPMG, and he comes and takes this studio course for our third year students. So that was about a little bit about the journey till third year. Now, when we get into the fourth year, I would like to bring in a lot of industry aspect out here. So what you see on the screen is a very unique industry connect model, which we have as a school. Okay, and this model has been very, very, I would say, value adding for us and for our students. So what you see at the center is something called as an industry-based capstone, where the students in the last semester, which is semester 8, spend 4 full months, in a company of their interest area. So they go and do their projects for 4 months. They come back and they present those, their end deliverables to us. What this industry-based capstone also does is it creates a route, right? It creates a path. It creates a gateway for the students to also get absorbed in the same company. So in fact, Sarthak Naik, who's here with us, is a great example. He worked with Greaves Cotton, and now the company is so impressed by his work that they now want to hire him as a studio head. Apart from the capstone and the final placements, we focus a lot on live industry projects. So we have design studio, which means every semester student has to do one project where they create some kind of a new innovative product. So we make sure that we bring in some live industry projects, and we have done projects with Mondelez, Kinder Joy, Cello, and I think some of those examples are coming here. So you'll understand how we look at this whole live industry projects. For us, internship is not just a 4-week or a 6-week program where students just go do some smaller assignments and come back. Our internship modules have been very, very carefully designed. So we have an internship module after first year, which is called observership. We have an internship module after the second year, which is apprenticeship, and after the third year, which is internship. And we'll speak a little bit more about it when we move ahead. I also touched upon industry practitioners as teachers. So I think that you have seen in some of the work that I showed earlier. We also have something called as Stalwart series. So what we do is we reach out to the industry experts and they visit our campus and they give lectures on topics of interest for students. Over the past 3 months, we have been doing all this virtually, and we have done about 60 plus webinars online over the past 2 months only for product design. So these are the 4 students that Siddharth introduced you to, and they are here with us. And while I'm talking about some of their projects, I'm going to request them to unmute themselves and to speak about the projects that they have done. So the first industry project that I want to talk about was for Surya. I'm sure you all know Surya Roshni, the fan and the light company, and they were looking for some ideas for design of ceiling fans, and a team of 8 students from product design and a few communication design students, they helped them create 14 new and innovative concepts that was actually presented to the business head of Surya Lighting. So this is something that we do a lot. Almost every 10 to 15 days, we have some senior industry professional come and visit our campus for different purposes, whether it is talk or whether it is reviewing our student work. And this gives the student an opportunity to not just design, but to also present and pitch their concepts to the industry stalwarts. And this is what touches on that all-round development of the student that I spoke of in the beginning of the presentation. this was a very, very interesting project that was done for Maruti. So Autodesk, is our partner, and we use a lot of Autodesk softwares and tools in our campus. So this was about conceptualizing the car interiors for 2030, and the whole idea here was to make sure that we use the space most optimally. I would like to just share one small video which is out here, a snippet, and I'll explain you what it is. So as you can see, the team came up with a very innovative concept of creating a modular flooring for the car. The idea here was a floor that gets transformed into a seat as and when required. I'm sure not many of you will know, but one of the major causes of congestion in the cities is that mostly the cars that people drive are either single occupancy or double occupancy. That means a lot of seat space is wasted in the car. So can we optimize this space? So if there is only one person in the car, we only have one seat popping up from this floor, and all the remaining part could probably be used to put to store goods, or to have maybe other seats and other people in carpool. So this was a concept that was done by the students. So this is where this was a project we did with Ferrero Rocher, and this is where I request Urvi. So Urvi Thakkar, is our graduating student, and Urvi, if you are here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, Urvi, please
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Urvi, and I'm a product design graduate. My experience at SD has been incredible, to be honest, and I've seen myself grow so much in these 4 years. It's amazing, like how a design school can transform the way you think and look at things. So let me start off by talking about the Kinder Joy project with which Shamit sir mentioned. And so one of our semesters in the third year, we had a project with Kinder Joy, which is a company under Ferrero. And so the brief given to us was designing Kinder Joy toys for the Indian market. And since there were size constraints and all, we used the 3D printer to do so. So throughout this whole process, we were in constant touch with the people from Luxembourg, where Kinder Joy is located. And it was a very beautiful experience. Like, we had a one-on-one chat every time we had some idea. We discussed the idea with them. So the overall experience was pretty great, and we sort of had this cultural exchange with them, which I mean, the whole thing was pretty good. We got views from them on our ideas. So yeah, moving on, I would like to talk about some other experiences I've had. Me being like a cultural enthusiast and wanting to explore, I applied for a transfer in the second year, just because we had the opportunity to do so, because SD is collaborated with Parsons. So I mean, I got in the universities I wanted to, but finally, because I was pretty satisfied with what I was getting from SD, I decided not to go and then apply for masters. So currently I have applied for masters to a couple of universities, and I've gotten great scholarships and all. I'm pretty proud of it. Another experience I would like to talk about is the UTREC project. Last year we had gone to Netherlands for a live project with to work with Dutch clients and Dutch students. And I mean, the whole cultural experience is really good, because you know how people from different countries think in terms of design, how their perspective is in terms of design. And we got to learn a lot there, because we were constantly working with them for like 6 hours of the day. And to conclude, I would say that ISD has endless opportunities, and especially in the field of product design, there is endless scope. So yeah, just make the most of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Urvi. So moving on to a few more industry projects, we have a very, very strong relationship with Mondelez International. For all those who don't know, Mondelez is the Cadbury company, and we have done some done a lot of projects for them. We have also had a lot of our students doing internships. In fact, 2 of our students are currently interning with their corporate innovation team. So what you see on your screen are pictures of a hackathon event where we had more than 200 students participate for a live challenge that Mondelez had offered us on packaging design. We also did a design for the VC cooler. So VC cooler is this cooler or this device in which you store chocolates so that chocolates don't melt. And you would have seen this at the retail stores. So this was a design that was done by 3rd and 4th year students. And like I said, again, coming back to that point of all-round development, it is not just about designing and making prototypes, but it's also about going and pitching and selling what you have made. So these are pictures of Mondelez office where the team went and presented their concepts to the senior leaders of the Mondelez team. A similar experience, 4 students working on a packaging design project. So 2 years back, we all know that Maharashtra had imposed plastic ban, and single-use plastic was banned. So we know that pens and stationery material use a lot of plastics. So this project was about looking for alternative materials and creating very innovative packaging solutions. And I'm really proud to say that 2 of these designs, which I can't show here because of an NDA, are currently under development and they will soon be out in the market. We also believe in recognizing the efforts of the students who work on these projects. So that's the team that you show, and we have our chairman, Dr. Indu Shahani, along with the Chief Innovation Officer of Mondelez, Mr. Sanjay Gurbaksani. This is, again, I think it's a great image, and I'm sure you all are very curious of what this is. And I would like Milind to speak about this. Milind? Milind, are you here? Okay, I think looks like...
Milind is not in the room. No, he's not in the room.
Oh, he's not in the room. No worries. So this was a project that was done for a cyclothon event that was organized in Delhi about a year and a half back. This is a bamboo bicycle. So it has the main structure is made out of bamboo.
Here. Sorry, I think there was a problem with my mute button.
Okay, Milind, go ahead. All yours.
So yes, as Sir rightly put it, this was a 10-day challenge for us. In fact, it was a team of 4 students from 3rd year of product design, and the challenge came upon us for a cyclothon that was happening in Delhi. And the company reached out to us, said that we want a cycle that is easily recyclable, or to put it rightly, is not made of metal. So we asked them, okay, well, if you don't want it made of metal, what do you want it made of? They said, it's completely your choice, do something crazy, right? So just as they said, we being designers, we said, okay, let's make a bicycle out of bamboo. And we went ahead and we actually made a bamboo bicycle. Before that, to let you know, this was completely done in 10 days, from literally a sketch on a tissue paper to the final delivery back in Delhi. This was literally covered in 10 days, where it was the most, I think, craziest and most tedious 10 days that anybody has ever had, at least in that particular group. So we 3D printed the custom parts that we wanted within our campus, as we have the opportunity to use that facility. We outsourced the bamboo, we cut it into dimensions we want. We used several different, ecological materials, and we went ahead with this.
Milind, you want me to play the video?
Sure, sir. I was actually just going to tell you to do that.
Yeah. Just a sec.
Guys, please bear with us if the video lags a little, because I think that happens on Zoom sometimes.
Here's the video.
that was actually our entire process that we went through in those 10 days. I think it was the most sleepy nights that any of us has ever had. But it was great, as all four of us went down to Delhi, and we got to see Miss Disha Patni, unveil the bicycle to all the cycle enthusiasts and all the people who were actually, participating in the cyclethon. So it was a really good feeling that, ISDI gave us this opportunity to go ahead, and do something like this while our course was actually on.
All right. Thank you, Milind.
Thank you, sir.
I would also like to, inform the audience here that Milind is placed with TCS and he's going to be soon joining them. So moving on, few more projects. And this is where we move on to the capstone project bucket. And this is the thing which I was talking about, that in semester 8, where the students go and do a 4 months of full-time project in a company before they graduate. I would like Sarthak to talk about the project that is on the screen right now. Sarthak, are you here? Okay. So I think I'll just go on. So this was a project that Sarthak just accomplished.
He's here. Sarthak is in the room. I'll just bring him in.
Yes, I was unable to unmute my speaker.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Sarthak.
So this is called, this scooter is actually called Vega it's an electric scooter by Ampere vehicle, which is based out in Bangalore. And this was one of the craziest projects I ever worked on, because it included everything that I was not comfortable with. It included electronics. It included, moving out of Bombay, and I moved out for the first time. It included, working with engineers, and it's a very famous stereotype that goes around, that designers and engineers don't get along. But let me tell you, I can validate that it's not true, because the experience I had with the company working with the engineers was completely different from what I thought it would be like. So when I first got there, my brief was very simple: हमको sporty scooter चाहिए. From that to the final design brief that my project had was to design a high-speed sporty unisex scooter which is fun and delightful to the youth, as well as practical to the middle-aged audience. Now everything that lies between their initial brief and our design brief is the research. And this was a very research heavy project. And as a designer, you need to be open to that, and you need to accept that it's not just about creating models and sketches. The research part is mostly very important, because that is what leads you to the final design. So the research part was a lot of fun. It included us going out and trying out different vehicles, different scooters or different companies, visiting dealerships and all. So overall, a few insights that we got from this research was that, in India, even if a scooter is for the youth, it is going to be bought by their parents, by the middle-aged people. And typically a scooter is used by multiple members of the family. So you can't just have a really, like KTM type scooter for the youth and ignore the rest of the society, because the customer base is also very, practical in India. So that's why this scooter is, not too unconventional, but it's also sporty and practical at the same time. A few features that I would speak about are that it's got handles on the front apron. You might have seen that a lot of kids stand on the front footboard, and a lot of times they rest their arms on the headlights or on the handles, which is very uncomfortable for the rider, to handle the scooter. So we incorporated a small, couple of handles on the front apron that the kid can hold on to. And the major inspiration from the scooter was the cheetah, because most 9 out of 10 people that, on an average said that the cheetah is what comes to their mind when they think about sporty or, robust or agile. So if you see this from the side view, the side panel has been inspired by the running cheetah, the form of the cheetah, the agility and the grace that it brings in. And the front has been inspired by the face of the cheetah to give it a robust look. So this is what, and yeah, my experience with Greaves Cotton, the company was really, really beautiful because they didn't have a design team before. And when I walked in there, I realized that, how is it possible that, it's a second most, most famous electric scooter manufacturing company in India doesn't have a design team. So I had a conversation with my boss, who is the CTO, Mr. Umesh Krishnappa, and we had a very candid conversation about what the company's ethics are, what what their vision is, and what I bring to the table. For them, a designer was only for making sketches and all. That's what they wanted me to be there for. But everything that I learned from school, all the research part, all the industry exposure that I had been given, helped me communicate what the real value of a designer is. And that in that very conversation, our design brief completely changed. I told them that we should include people from other disciplines also, like the marketing department, the R&D department, the sales department, and include their inputs also, so that we have a holistic approach towards creating this scooter. And after a month or something, they had a business meeting, and then a small CFT team, a cross-functional team was built, which I was also a part of. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, you have to put yourself out there in a professional, systematic manner to create your own value. So that's what is really important. And
Sarthak, yeah, go on. Just complete.
So working with engineers, there's a bunch of stuff that they don't know about that we know of, and a lot of stuff that they know about and we don't know. So it's not a competition, I'd say. We worked in collaboration. They taught me a lot of things, and even our thought process was very different from theirs. So when I got to teach them a lot of things, and this collaboration is what translated into this beautiful piece that you see here. So do not follow that stereotype is what I would say. End this on.
Thank you, Sarthak, and all the best for your placement and job with Greaves Cotton. I'll quickly move on to a few more projects. So we have done smart projects, smart gadgets for senior citizens with Havells. We have done Tata Elxsi has we have had some good relationship with Tata Elxsi, and this was a Indian tea maker that our student Afan had done last year for a client which was Samsung. This was a project that Manuhita had done as her capstone. Manuhita graduated last year, and this is an award-winning design. She won an award, for this design. So this product was made out of all the waste material, that we have at home when we renovate our houses. A very recent project done with JSW, the Jindal, Steel Works. So this was a project on designing public places, and this was a bus stop designed by Kanam, which was inspired by a thorny devil lizard, which allowed rainwater harvesting, a lot of other sustainable practices to be followed. This bus stop was also designed for end of the life cycle, so which means after the the bus stop gets old, these components can be used for different purposes. Maitri Dedia did her capstone with Digital Impact Square of TCS, and we have had 4 years of very strong relationship with DISC, Digital Impact Square, a very interesting project which was done to reduce the losses of the farmers. So this is a grape farm that you see here. And grape farms are subjected to a lot of pest attacks. So Maitri's project was to create a solution that can find these pests and the stems which are attacked, and can communicate this through a service to people who can come and remove that pest from the plant. Some more project done around education. So this was a project, a board game designed by Shrishti on finding the right careers, for the village youth. I'll move on. Aditya Birla. So this is, over the past few years, we've also worked a lot with Aditya Birla, and they've also offered us some projects. This was a adult dog bed that Abhishek designed for his capstone. And I would also like to speak about business consulting companies, the big 5 consulting companies such as Deloitte, McKinsey, who are now looking at bringing design and design thinking and also designers into their team. And we are very, very happy to say that 4 of our students, including Urvi and Trisha, who are here, got an opportunity to do a capstone there. And I would like Trisha to in very brief, tell us about her experience, working with Deloitte, and what are her future plans? Trisha, are you here? Trisha, can you unmute yourself? Okay, I think. So maybe I think we'll probably catch up with Trisha after she comes back. So this is where Trisha and team worked on creating an innovation platform where employees can come and contribute ideas and bring in innovation culture in the organization. Another UI UX project done with a company called Urban Sciences. So this was a air quality monitoring device. And the complete UI UX aspect of it that Devika had designed for her capstone. We've had few very successful startup stories, and this is a project that was done by our graduate of 2018 called Prasad Joshi. This is a portable insulin cooler. It stores the insulin vials, at a temperature below 8 degrees Celsius, and what is very interesting is Prasad incubated at ISDI after he finished his 4 years, and a lot of faculty and industry experts helped him develop this concept. A few months back, he got a 8 lakh rupees grant from the Delhi University, and he's moved to Delhi now, and he's right now working on commercializing this and bringing it to the market. So I think those were some of the projects that I wanted to speak about. I'm kind of nearing the last few slides. And I want to talk a lot about placements now. So in the last 4 years, 75% of our graduate students have taken up jobs. About 11% have moved to higher studies. 9% of them have taken up, family businesses. They're going and helping their parents. And 5% of our students have started startups. Now, amongst these 75% of our students who have taken up jobs, 49% have got recruited at corporates such as Infosys, L&T, TCS, Aditya Birla, and Philips. About 16% of them joined the design service companies or the design studios such as Shebang, Ravi Vazrani Design Studio, Case Design. Then we've also had lifestyle product companies such as Shaze, Alsorg, which is a premium furniture company, recruit our students, technology companies. Like I said, a lot of digital innovation is what companies are doing. A lot of digital transformation is happening. So our students have also found jobs with Human Factors and Zoox Innovation, and a few more, to talk about. And this is the spectrum of sectors, industry sectors, and some of the companies which are listed here, where our students have either done a capstone or have found a placements. So as you can see, right from automotive to consulting to lifestyle, healthcare, tech companies, I think you name a sector, and we have had our alumni or our students working or interning with them. This is the Stalwart series piece I was talking about in the beginning, and this is where we have industry experts come and share their experiences with our students. Just to highlight a few, we've had Pratap Bose come and speak to our students few months back. Pratap Bose heads the Tata Motors Design Studio, and we know how what big transformation has Tata Motors seen in their vehicles, and that's all because of Pratap Bose. We've also had the chief designer of Samsung, Harshavardhan Upadhyay, come and take a session with our students just a few weeks back, and a few other stalwarts from Amazon and JSW, and a lot more which are not here being put up here. now I would like to just spend 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about the team, who's behind, mentoring and, making sure that our students get a very seamless and a very, I would say, learning experience. So this is the faculty team. And, as you can see, we have Professor Amit Kundal, who's been a true academician at heart. He's like a guiding star for us. We've had Deepak Singh. Deepak is a go-to man, for any kind of product design, mechanical engineering problem, and he's very connected with the student community. Gaurav is a multidisciplinary faculty. He brings in interior design as well as product design experience. Pratana helps us in a very seamless movement of students from first year to second year. Sanjeev and Akash, are skill champions. They develop these flawless skills in the students to convert their ideas into concepts. Ritika brings in experience from product and the business angle, and she is a graduate of RCA London. Abhishek takes the studio for us, and he's a graduate of MIT. Ashutosh, I spoke of Ashutosh. He's a technocrat, and he takes a course on creative technology, building in electronics and technology in products. What you see, at the bottom, Dr. Guha, Vivek Ambarkar, Girish Lone, and Gavin. These are some of the industry practitioners who have been successfully teaching studio courses for our faculty, for our students. I would also like to share some of the work that our faculties have done, because our faculty is a mix, of academic excellence as well as industry experience. So we have Sanjeev Das, and one of his recent projects on design of electric charger. We all know that electric vehicles have been spoken a lot in the country, and Sanjeev designed a full range of electric chargers. And this charger is already installed and running at Delhi. So as you can see, this is a electric vehicle charger that was done by Sanjeev. Akash is our concept artist, and this is some of the work that Akash has done on very futuristic concepts. He also takes a very wonderful course called Futurism for the product design students. Ritika, this is the work that Ritika has done with product design. So she has worked with GM and a lot of consumer electronics company. She's also worked with Pepperfry, and she has helped create a complete, business model and marketing plan for Woodsworth range of furniture for Pepperfry. Some of the work that I have done, in my experience with the industry. So I've spent about 8 years with Mahindra & Mahindra and a few more years with other automotive companies. These are some of the products, which are already in the market, which I was part of. I led the innovation and the product planning and product design piece in these projects. And these are some of the case studies that our faculties also share with the students when we take courses. This was some of my product design work, which I had done with a company called Onio for our client DRDO. So this is a bomb disposal robot called Daksh, which is now being used by the Indian Army. So I think I would like to now, this is the last slide, and I'd like to conclude that why should you come to SDPD? And I believe, there are n number of reasons, but I think one of the most important reason is we have a globally recognized curriculum, which comes from Parsons and gets contextualized for our Indian context. As you have seen, we have faculty with a mix of academic excellence and industry and they create master's route that we have developed over the years for bright careers of our students. So with that, I would like to end this presentation, and will be happy to take up the questions towards the end.
Thank you, Shamil. Thank you very much. We are going to attempt to unmute Trisha once more to see if she can, say a quick word. Imran, if you can unmute her.
So Sid, Trisha, I have unmuted you. If you can, if you're here with us.
Hi, can you all hear
Hi.
me now?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
we can.
Yes,
Okay,
we can.
wonderful.
Welcome.
Finally. Hi. So, as Shamit sir mentioned that I had my capstone at Deloitte. So, I would like to share a little bit about that. Firstly, like Deloitte is a professional service network, and traditionally design is very alien to them. So, when we four of us sort of went there and we were given the project to work on, it was interesting to see these companies open up for design, because now it's understood that all of the MNCs or larger organizations want to innovate as they want to sustain their business. And when we talk about innovation, design comes as a very important aspect in it. So so now you see a lot more designers walking into these industries and sort of bringing in a change. So what we dealt there was with building an innovation culture within the company employees. So it was interesting to see culture, employees, and the innovation aspect within the company. Also, the presentation that Shamit sir showed, it was like a flashback for me from the past 4 years that I've had at ISD. And I would especially like to point out the internship aspect of it. So I started my apprenticeship at Jai Hai Museum, which is at the Mumbai International Airport, wherein I learned a lot about art and craft, Indian art and craft, installations, and built on soft skills, talking to talking to visitors. Secondly, then I did my apprenticeship with Play to Transform, which was more of a freelance experience. Later on, I went to do my internship at Philips Design. This sort of brought in an experience of going out of the academic bubble and looking at how it works in industry, like with the design knowledge you have and the business requirements, how do you sort of blend them in together. And finally, I think all of these opportunities that I've been getting are because of the strong placement cell and the network with the networking with industry, like industry coming in and taking interviews, placements, career cafe. A lot of this sort of pushes you to go speak to industry people, to know what they think about your work, and that sort of helps in getting these opportunities. So yeah, lastly, I'm pretty excited to go into Infosys and represent ISD over there as well. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you very much. Shamit, if you're game, we've got lots of questions coming your way. Imran, I'm going to give you the task of trying to get everyone on screen who's asking the question. So those who have a question, we will unmute you. Either you can send us a message on chat or raise your hand. But basic ground rules of Zoom apply. Please switch on your video before answering your question, so that we know who we're speaking to and we can give the right context. Imran, over to you.
Thank you, Siddharth. So I already have before questions, I already have some people giving me a clap symbol, because I think it was a brilliant presentation, Sumit, and there have been a few claps coming up. Revati Sangam is giving you a heads up on clap. Guys, any questions? Y'all can submit your questions in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer them. Tarush Kumar. Tarush, I'm gonna unmute you, and you can ask your question. Give me a minute, and I would request you to start your video also. So, okay, let's see. I've unmuted you, Tarush. You wanna ask your question?
Yes, sir.
You want to start your video also? Yeah, okay,
yeah,
fine. We can see you.
Tarush.
Yeah.
Hi, Tarush.
Hi. Go ahead.
Hello. Will ISDI also do a webinar on communication design?
So Tarush, yes, we'll do a webinar on communication design shortly, and I will request our admissions team to send you the date for that. Yeah, Tarush?
Okay, thank you.
Great.
I have another question from Revati Sangam. Revati, I'm going to unmute you, and you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Revati. Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
I have a question that how do we join your college? Like, is there any particular exam that we need to write?
Revati, very good question. If you just drop your telephone number in the chat box, I will get our head of admissions to call you, and then she can walk you through the entire process.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, great. I mean, we can give a lot more details, but I know there are lots of questions, so we'll try and triage through each question, and especially if they're content-related, program-related questions, please ask us. Admission-related questions, you can message me. I'm happy to answer them.
Okay.
There's another one from Madhurya, and Madhurya, I'm gonna unmute you so that you can ask your question.
Hello.
Yes,
hi.
we can hear you.
So I wanted to know more about your collaboration with Parsons.
Okay. Siddharth, you want to take that?
Sure.
Or? Yeah.
So, Madhura, before I do that, tell me a little bit about you. Where are you? Which part of the country are you from? And have you finished your 12th standard?
No, I haven't. I'm going to 12th now. I'm from Bangalore.
From Bangalore, great. So we actually started in 2013. Our collaboration with Parsons is very unique because we have worked with them on 4 areas. So one is, of course, the curriculum. The entire curriculum, when we started, came from Parsons, but over the last 10 years, really, we have worked together with them to build I would say, a curriculum that is works both for India as well as the world, because India is a very, very different country. Our needs are very different. So we've used a global curriculum to build a curriculum relevant to India and the world. Second is, of course, all our faculty get a lot of training and hand-holding from Parsons. We also have the ability for students to transfer. So you can do 2 years here, and then you can complete 2 years in Parsons. And at the end of the program, they give you a course completion certificate, which shows that you've actually gone through accredited program with them. Foreign degrees are not allowed in India as yet, so they can't give you it's not a Parsons degree, but it's the same curriculum, it's the same projects, it's the same learning, and most importantly, I think you become part of a global network. And Shamit, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your experience, because you've been doing a lot of work with, the Parsons team on your strategic design management program.
Right. So what we also do is every month, or month and a half, we also do a kind of a small review with the Parsons team. So a few students get to present to the Parsons, and every end of the year, the Parsons team visits us. Unfortunately, this year they couldn't because of the COVID scenario, but they come here, they look at the student work. They're also part of the capstone juries. And I will also say that I was fortunate, this time also to attend the jury that the Parsons students were going through. So the faculties from ISD also get an opportunity to become the part of the panel at the Parsons. And there are some best practices that we share. So certain good things or certain things that work for us here, they would want to go and take forward and implement them at Parsons. And likewise, some of the good practices from there, we try to incorporate at our school as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I have another one from Vansh. I'm gonna unmute Vansh so that he can ask you the question. Vansh, you want to put your video on, Vansh?
Yes, I guess my video is already on.
Yes,
okay.
Vansh, I can see
you.
Yeah,
he can see you. Yes.
Hi. So my question is that say that you want to shift your career from product design to any other field in design itself, like from product design to UX, UI, or graphic design. Are there any kind of special skills required, or do you already have them with you?
Okay, good question, Vansh. So I think let me also give you a slightly broader context. Okay, so what is happening in the industry is slowly the lines between the disciplines are blurring. Okay, so which means what? That even if you take product design, right, at some point in 3rd year, you would also be introduced to the UI UX skills, right? And I think by 3rd year, you've also figured it out that probably it is not the hardcore product design that you want to do, but probably you want to look at more digital products, right? You want to build more services and platforms and digital, tools. So I think this is where, a course on UI UX and service design help you get those skills. And if you look at our placement data, and also if you look at some of the capstone that our students have done, Urvi and Trisha are here. They are product designers, but they've actually worked with Deloitte, and they've created a digital platform, innovation platform for employees to contribute their ideas and to create an innovation culture, right? So it doesn't mean that when you do product design, you only make artifacts and objects, right? You also make things which are on your phone. You also make things that you see on your, on the interfaces, right? So on and so forth. So, like I said, we believe a lot, all the disciplines at ISDI believe a lot in interdisciplinary education. So a lot of our studios, we have students. So we had an example where one of our students worked with a fashion design student to create a smart garment, right? A garment that could light up in different colors, and it created a lot of buzz in the campus and in some of the fashion shows that we had in our campus. So you will get all that kind of platform to do what you like, right? So students' interests are of primary importance to us.
Okay,
thank you.
I'm going to share my screen for a second because I have this slide on. I know there are a lot of people asking questions on UI and UX. Imran, is my screen visible?
Yeah. Yes, we can see your screen.
So, this question we always get, what is the difference between, user experience design and user interface design? I know this is a simplistic representation of it. But really, when you're looking at user experience, it's more about the technology. It's more about the information. It's more about the research. It's more about the different scenarios, right? You're creating experiences for people. So it's more logical. You're figuring out a flow of information and what is the level of information they're going to do. And when it comes to interaction, it's really you're looking at how do they interact with the device, right? So what are the colors which are more appealing, right? So how do you make people make certain decisions? So what color should you use? What layout should you use? What is the typography that you should use? How do you highlight certain areas to make a decision, right? The best place to learn, I would say, UI is any e-commerce site, right? Any successful e-commerce site, because any e-commerce site you go to, you feel like buying everything, right? So the way they put your, so UX is a little bit about, how do I make sure that, okay, my basket is in the right place, and when they pick something, they go to my basket and they check out. UI is like, how do I get them to keep adding more stuff into the basket, right? So that's kind of the layman's distinction that I pull between the two. So I hope that helped you, Vansh. Great, Imran, back to you.
Yeah, I have another very, very interesting question from Dikshit. I will ask Dikshit to ask you this question. I think Shamit, this is directly under your alley.
Yes,
Dikshit,
yes,
you want to ask your question? It's a very interesting one. Dikshit, are you there with us? I can see Dikshit, but he is.
Can you hear us? Maybe you can reply us on the chat if you can't open your.
I'll try to bring him in. But there's another one from Abhishek Nair. Abhishek, you want to ask your question in the meanwhile?
Yes, I can see Abhishek.
Yeah.
Hi, Abhishek.
Hello, sir. Hi. So I'm curious about that car seat project, sir.
Yes, the car seat project. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to know about that substance used in that project. Like,
Sorry,
how
what
is
is
it
being...
that substance used in that project? Like,
okay,
how it's possible to deform and on that?
So this was a generative design project. Okay, so what generative design is, it's all about you use mechanisms, right? So you use a combination of surfaces and a lot of I would say links, flexible links, to create surfaces that can transform, right? So if you read about generative design, and if you also do a Google search on generative design and Autodesk, you will actually find a very interesting tool which allows on Autodesk platform, which allows you to create these kind of modular and complex forms. Okay, so it's a combination of I would say trapezoidal surfaces and the links which connect to the edges, which allows you to transform the shape of the object. Okay, so generative design is what was used in that project.
Thanks, Shamit. Dikshit's question, he's unable to switch on his mic. He's got some network issues, but his video is on and he can wave out to you. Yes, and he can wave out to you. Very interesting question because he's asking you the difference between product design and product innovation.
Okay, so I think they are interrelated in some way, but I would say that the product innovation is a larger bucket. Okay, so product innovation is not just about designing. Product innovation is also about spotting a new opportunity. Okay, what do you mean by spotting a new opportunity? So I think that example that I showed in the slide where there was an earth moving equipment that I had worked on when I was in Mahindra. So we were trying to create a product that can make rural roads, construction of rural roads simpler, right? So the idea was to identify the need, to figure out where is the gap. And then once you've identified that need, that yes, you want to now create a product for rural road construction, that is when, you know, product designers get involved and they start translating those needs into forms, into sketches, into, you know, technicalities, into engineering, and then, you know, the design gets developed, and then it becomes big. Also, I would say that product innovation is something that brings in I would say, disproportionate value to the business, right? So product design is embedded in the overall product innovation process. Did you get that? Okay, thank you.
It's a very happy smiling nod that is come there. So I think Harshala has a question which Siddharth has already answered. Sid, this is the one that you already answered. It says, is it possible to do 2 years here in Bombay and then take a transfer out abroad? Sid, do you want to take that? Because
let me add to that. So you know, obviously we believe in a global education, and there are 3 ways that we focus on global education. One is, of course, bringing in international faculty to partner with our faculty to teach on our campus. That's one, right? So faculty coming in. Second is obviously working with students from different universities, because also peer-to-peer learning at a global level is very important. So we have exchanges, we have semester programs, and yes, there are a number of students who like to complete their education in another university because they want a global experience. So not only do you have an opportunity to go to Parsons, but you also have an opportunity to go to, I would say, over 120 different universities. And practically speaking, given the current circumstances with COVID, this is what has really helped all our students, because they are able to complete their current year with us. And if they were looking to go abroad, they can go once the pandemic is over. So yes, there are many opportunities. There's an international office. The international office works on, you know, and it's works on all the different opportunities that we have, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in the US. But, you know, my advice to most people is that you must always finish your primary degree or your primary program in your home country. And then the opportunity to do a master's abroad is something that, you know, we encourage our students to do quite significantly. So there are many opportunities, and it's up to each individual to pick what they would like to do.
Does that, Harshla, I have unmuted you and we can see you on screen also. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir, it does.
Thank you. Shamit, the next one is for you, and it is by Naman. Naman, you want to ask or should I ask on your behalf? You have.
Yeah, so I am right now an SD student and in the July batch. So I wanted to know what all.
I missed what you said in the beginning. What student are you?
SD student.
SD student. Okay.
Yeah, so
he's enrolled. He's enrolled. So he's starting this year, right?
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. He's starting this year.
So I wanted to know what all kind of things will we be doing in the first year and the type of softwares we will use.
Okay. So are you interested in product design, Naman?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, you know, the first year is a foundation program, right? So the first year is where you explore a lot. You learn some basic elements and fundamentals of design, the design theory, right? You get acquainted with a lot of materials through a course called Space and Materiality. You also use Adobe Illustrator as a tool for, you know, your digital design. Then along with that, you also, I would say, learn a little bit about sustainable systems, right, in the first year. a lot about liberal arts, because Parsons, pedagogy also has a very strong liberal art background. So you learn a lot about liberal arts. And this first year will also prepare you to create a, like a base for you, like a datum for you, which will help you in a smoother transition to product design program when you come into the third semester, right? So broadly, you will learn Adobe Illustrator in your first year as one of the tools. And when you come to the second year, is where I have Sanjeev here with me, and I think I'll take this opportunity to introduce Sanjeev Das, who's a faculty with product design and some of the great amazing renders that you saw. So Sanjeev, I would like you to speak a little bit about your course to Naman and talk about some of the softwares that we use.
Okay. So it's more of a giving your first building up your skills, like whatever going in your mindset, whatever going in your right from perfecting your idea of holding this pencil to making a line, and gradually you need to at least get into progressions of advancing your perfecting your mindset in terms of like creating forms through sketchings. So that is your skill based sketching. So a designer's skill is always based on whatever going in your mindset is quickly put on the paper perfectly, and carving out all the forms and all those things. Secondly, and then you need to go into the 3D digital sculpting, which is kind of a more of a 3D modeling skills, which you can see the sketch and perfectly make the same sketch into the 3D digital modeling and go for manufacturing. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Naman. Does that help you?
Yes, that helps a lot.
Okay, thank you. I have one question, which has come to me privately on a chat window, and Sanjeev, I would like you to also answer this.
Okay.
Is there a specific laptop configuration that is required? I would say, Sahil, at this point, you need not worry about that so much, but still, Sanjeev, if you have some pointers for Sahil in terms of what kind of system or laptop does he, should he buy, I think that would help him before he gets.
Oh, it's like a more of a these days phones come also with a lot of 8 GB RAMs and 4 GB RAMs and all. So it's like a 8 GB RAM is good enough for you guys, and kind of at the very basic level also the Rhinoceros doesn't take too much. The 3D model software doesn't take too much of space or doesn't take too much of RAM. It needs a simple 4 to in fact at least a 8 GB RAM basically it comes, and that's good enough with the basic graphic cards. That's it. Nothing more than that. In fact, definitely you need.
You guys can also read about the Rhinoceros software, Autodesk Fusion as a software, and Adobe Illustrator as a software, that we use, and you will get some of the ideal specifications of the systems, that you need to purchase. Yeah.
I have the next question, which is a very interesting question. Shamit said, whichever wants to answer this. I think this is for either one of you. Although the question, I don't know who this has come from, because there are only some characters that have come. The question is, all the student placements that you showed in your presentation, were they campus placements? Does the institute help in getting these placements? And the third part of the question is, does the institute also facilitate companies to come on campus, or the students are supposed to go outside to industry and give interviews?
Siddharth, shall I? Or?
Why don't you start, Shamit, and then I'll add on. Go ahead.
All right. So I think everything that I showed on the slide was something that the school has facilitated, and I must say that I'm very proud to say that even in the current product design batch, we have had about 70% placements happening in our campus, because we have a very, very strong industry relations with some of the companies that you saw in my talk. And I would also say that we've got 100% internships that have happened in this year. Along with that, all our alumni over the past 3 batches are placed with some marquee companies, including some of the companies I showed to you. Some have also started their own studio. In fact, yesterday we had 2 of our alumni come and speak to our current students about their new company that they started called Tasso. So yeah, I think because we have a very strong industry connect, we facilitate placements. and everything that you saw was something that the school had organized and not something that the students have figured out themselves.
So, just to add, I think our location being in the heart of Mumbai makes a big difference because there's easy access to corporate India. We are probably the only school who has 2 design labs. So we have the Aditya Birla Design Lab, which is in our campus. In fact, their innovation studio is within our campus. We also have multiple opportunities like that for students. But I think what's very important is that, internships, placements, successful jobs is a journey. It's a partnership between the institution, between the parents, between the students. And finding the right job or finding the right masters is also a period of discovery. And not only do we have a placement cell, but it's also faculty. It's also senior students who will actually help you find out what is the right fit for you. Right? I think all of us, we are in this mad rush, right? To go from point A to point B, right? So first get into design school, then get into internship, then get into placement, then do well at a job. But many of these things come naturally to you while you're at the school. So the faculty, the placement cell, the entire academic administration team, even the admissions team, will support you in your journey to actually pick your placements, to pick the right job, to make sure you get the right packages. So they work together as a team. So don't worry about that. I mean, you heard from our students who many of them have actually, most of them would have picked up these opportunities based on our campus.
Thanks, Shiv. There was another follow-up question from Kirti Arora, who also I think got an answer from the question that she had has also been answered in the previous one. Shamit, you want to add to that? You want to say something?
I have a question again, which has been sent to me privately. The question is that after the 4 years of the course, is it possible to do masters in any other field of design? And the answer is yes. It's a big yes, and we have a live example here with us, Urvi Thakkar, who's our current student, and she's going to be soon pursuing her masters. Urvi, are you here still?
She's here. She's with us.
Can you unmute? Yeah. Will you like to answer this question for Ashish?
Yeah, sure. So from my experience at ISD, in product design, there is a scope not only in product design, but we learn more than product design. We go beyond it. Like we have courses like service design, system thinking, design management. So from all these courses, you know what you want to do further. And because the scope is so huge and you've experienced it all in your 4 years, you know what you want to pursue in your masters. So for my masters, I'm doing masters in design management because I am more interested in research and the business side of design. And I think you can do anything you want to do after product design because there is a huge scope, like I said before.
All right, thank you. I hope Ashish, that answers your question. I have one more question from Samhita, and her question is that she is in 10th standard and she wants to pursue product design and architecture. So is there some possibility that we could combine the both? Interesting question, Samhita. I think the only answer, only thing I can think of right now is maybe interior design and built design, built environment program might be more suitable for you, because you will get to, of course, look at the architecture or the design of space part of it. And I think you can also look at, some of the products, lifestyle, furniture, lighting, that I think would combine together to meet the interest area that you're looking into.
Thank you, Shamit. Guys, any more questions? Not any. I think that was quite an informative one, because this session has been one of the most informative, most engaging, and an eye opener as well. Mostly all of the questions have been answered. There are a few admission related questions where I have asked for numbers. I've got the numbers, and our admissions team will reach out to you immediately as soon as the webinar gets over. In fact, they've been wondering whether they should call now, but I've told them to wait till the webinar gets over. Thank you, Shamit, for this interesting evening. Sid, thank you for this interesting evening. Sanjeev, thank you for joining us. Milind, Sarthak, Urvi, thank you for being with us.
Trisha as well.
And Trisha,
Thank you.
and Trisha as well. Thank you for being with us, and thank you all of you for joining in. And if there are any more queries, you all can reach out to our admissions team. You all can reach out to the email address, which I can just spell the email address out. It's admissions@isdi.in. I will send a message to all of you all about the email address, and we will be happy to answer all your queries that you have.
Great. Thank you, everyone, and look forward to seeing all of you in class. I know many of you are starting on Monday as part of Head Start. Those who are not, we'd encourage you to start because we have a lot of activities, lined up for you, and look forward to all of you having a very successful design journey, and wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and help your parents. Bye. See you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Shamit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.